We'd like to welcome our next panel of employers. We have Patrick Ellis, Executive Director of Chamberlain's Children's Center, Leslie Duldulao, Senior Admissions Counselor of San Jose Corps Outreach and Admissions, Annie Garcia, Recruiter of California Conservation Corps, Jacki Credico, Staff Service Manager of San Benito County and Human Resource Agency, and Robert, Patrick, could you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your company and the jobs that you have available?
Absolutely. So I'm Patrick Ellis, Program Director at Chamberlain's Children's Center. Right now we are looking for child care counselor trainee positions to be filled. Before I go on to say much about the position and its requirements, I also want to share a little bit of a story as to why we do the work we do. About 2 years ago, we got a visit from a young woman named Noelle who had just enrolled in Sonoma State University and is studying pre-med. It wasn't the first time that Noelle had visited us. In fact, she was a former client of Chamberlain's. What I remember most about that day is that as she leaned in and said hello and gave hugs to staff who had worked with her, she had tears running down her face, and she thanked each and every one of the people who had worked with her for their own unique contribution to her success. And so working at Chamberlain's, that's something that we've grown to expect, to be able to ignite an ability for our kids to move on and be successful, and to be a place where kids can get that type of support. So the position itself is an opportunity for folks in our community to make a difference as well. Child care counselors are involved in direct care with our kids. The position itself is a lot like like being a parent. You're involved with the daily routines of the work that's going on, taking kids to appointments, helping kids with homework, and really being for them to develop and maintain healthy relationships. Some of the requirements for the position are, they're pretty minimal as far as requirements go. You have to be at least 21 years old to work at Chamberlain's Children's Center. However, what we would prefer is folks who are either in college or graduates of college who are studying in the field of social services. And so those are the types of folks who we're looking for. If folks are interested in applying at Chamberlain's, we welcome any questions to happen here and today, and I will be here to stick around to answer those.
Thank you very much, Patrick. Leslie,
Yes, hi.
can you talk about your company and the jobs you're currently recruiting for?
Yes, my name is Leslie Duldulao. I'm the Senior Admissions Counselor at San Jose Job Corps. Our program actually has been running for the past 50 years. It's a nationally based program where thousands of young adults between the ages of 16 and 24, not yet 25, come and get job training in the careers that they want to go into. So there are some eligibility requirements. One of those is the age eligibility between 16 and 24. You have to be a U.S. resident or a U.S. citizen because it is a federal-based program, federal-funded program. The main thing that we want our young adults to do is really get a job at the end of the program, or go to college, or go to the military. Move forward with that success of life up the ladder of success. So some of my students that I've really worked with have been really successful. And they've come from the San Benito County, from the Monterey County, and also Santa Cruz County. And one of those students I hold really dear to, his name was Kevin Ayala. He actually graduated from our program about a couple years ago with culinary arts underneath his belt in our program, and now he's working in one of the top restaurants in San Francisco, living in San Francisco, one of the most expensive cities in the U.S., with a couple of his friends, of course. So he loves what he does, and I'm glad that we're able to help youth make a difference in their lives by giving them that opportunity to come into our program and be successful in their future. So our program, we don't have any positions opening, but we have positions open in the program itself for young adults. So right now we're recruiting heavily on the females, like I said, between 16 and 24. There's some eligibility requirements, and how to do that is to actually come to one of our weekly orientations. It's open to the public. There's no appointment needed, no documentation is needed either. All you have to do is come. It starts at 8:30. Arriving there at 8 a.m. would be great. It'll last until about 12 o'clock noon. And if they like what they hear about the program, again, they can come talk to me, and I'll let them know what documents to bring at the next appointment so that we can move forward with their application process. Again, this program is free to those students that are eligible for the program. It's about a $35,000 scholarship for each young adult to go into our program. So it's a $1 billion industry, but again, it's free to the young adults.
Thank you very much, Leslie.
Yeah.
By the way, nice bow tie.
Oh, thank you. I like yours too.
Annie, could you talk about your company and the jobs that you're currently recruiting for?
Yes, my name is Annie Garcia, and I'm a recruiter for the California Conservation Corps. We were established in 1976 by Governor Jerry Brown. It's modeled after the original civilian Conservation Corps. We're currently enrolling Corps members. We do have some eligibility requirements as well. Between the age of 18 and 25, cannot be on parole or formal probation, must be willing to respond to emergencies and other projects that are far away, which I'll get more into in a moment, and must be a California resident. So basically what we do is when a young adult enrolls with us, they get guaranteed a year of work, 40 hours a week. It's state minimum wage. We're centered in San Jose and Watsonville, and they get the opportunity to work alongside various state agencies such as state parks, Bureau of Land Management, Caltrans, to name a few. So they get a lot of training, paid training in various tools, skills, networking opportunities. Sorry. And then there's also an education aspect where if, no matter what the education level, we will accept them and we will give them the opportunity to get their diploma through us. I was a Corps member for 2 years and I got my diploma through the CCC. And there's also scholarship opportunity, up to $15,000 potentially a Corps member could walk away with. There are promotion opportunities as well. The longest a Corps member can stay is 3 years. And then say a young adult is having some, housing issues, or they just want to get out of the area and expand their horizons. We have several residential centers along the state that we can send them to, and there are other programs available there, such as like hatcheries, salmon restoration, trail building. It's a lot of the stuff that we do. So I'm centered in Watsonville, and we have orientations weekly. Whoever's interested can apply online at ccc.ca.gov, and I will contact them immediately. I check it daily, and then I can give information on when the orientations are.
Thank you so much, Annie. Jacki, could you talk about your company and the positions you're currently recruiting for?
Absolutely. I'm Jacki Credico, and I work with the Health and Human Services Agency of San Benito County. I'm the Human Resources Manager for that department, and the department encompasses many functions of the county: social services, public health department, environmental health, and emergency services. And right now we're hiring for the position of account clerk 2. That's an active recruitment, and if anyone would like to apply for that position, they would go to, we only accept online applications, they would go to mss.ca.gov. We also anticipate some upcoming positions opening up. Those would be the eligibility workers and social workers for Health and Human Services Agency.
Okay. Thank you very much, Jacki. Robert, I want to send a sincere apology. I believe I might have skipped you in the introduction, so
Oh, you
I
did.
extremely apologize.
It's
So
okay.
we have Robert Davila from Goodwill of Silicon Valley, outreach worker. Robert, what could you tell us about your company and the types of jobs that you're recruiting for at the moment?
So Goodwill of Silicon Valley, it's been around for over 100 years. I'm the veteran outreach social worker, and we have 12 different programs for mission services in Goodwill. You know about the Goodwill stores. We have 19 located in Santa Clara County, and those have various positions from cashier, sales associate, clothes sorter, or other material handler. And then we also go through a rigorous process with recycling the goods that get donated that aren't good enough to go into the stores. So there's another side with that. And as far as the program I work for is a Veteran Family Services program. So we get a grant through the government. It's a SSVF grant, which is Supportive Services for Veterans and their Families. And we follow a housing first model. So the typical applicant would be a veteran and or his family or her family that's homeless or at risk of being homeless. And we get them housed, and then we work on an employment side of it. So we have another program, which is the VIP program. It's a Veterans Individualized Placement Program. And they work with veterans that are unemployed or underemployed to obtain employment. They get case management. There are several other facets that they can work with along with getting employment. There's a Veterans Hub. It's an all veterans team. And there's also a Good Guard program, which is also, they get their certified guard card with 40 hours of classes in 1 month. It's a 2-year guard card. The classes are free. It's not just for veterans, it's for their families or anybody else that's looking for employment. The starting pay is about $12 to $15 an hour, and they're able to have various positions: daytime, nighttime, sitting, standing, male, female. Along with that, there's another program. It's a ERP program. It's a Employment Readiness program, and that's every Monday. You would go to the Goodwill at 1080 North 7th Street in San Jose, same as the guard card, or to get the guard card. And that's every Monday at 8 o'clock, but they want to arrive promptly, maybe 15 minutes early, because classes tend to get full pretty quickly. And it's pretty much it.
Thank you very much, Robert. Carissa, do you want to take it with questions from our viewers?
Okay, so you're a popular group. I'm getting a lot of questions.
Well, actually, that's a little bit more than we've been getting. So.
Yeah. Okay, so do any of your jobs require a degree? We'll go right down the line.
So as I mentioned, the positions that we have at Chamberlain's Children's Center are not, degree is not required, but it is something that we would prefer to see a degree, or somebody who's actively going through college with a goal for a degree in social services.
For our program at Job Corps, there's no degree needed to go in. You can actually get your GED or high school diploma in the program because it's a job training program. We'll definitely help you get that academics and then help you get that job afterwards.
Okay.
Yeah, no degree is required. We also help people get their diploma and the scholarship opportunities. We definitely encourage that those who come through our program go out and try to get a degree.
So for our current position, which is the Account Clerk 2 position, no degree is required. It is, we have what we call minimum qualifications for the position, is about 2 years of experience with accounting, clerical, and financial reporting. We also have 2 positions that would likely be coming up in the next month or 2. One is the eligibility worker position that does not require a degree. We like to see experience such as high public contact, heavy public contact in office environments. We also have a social worker position that the social worker 1, 2, and 3 levels do not require a degree. They require varying levels of experience. The social worker 4 position that we do have quite often recruited on requires a social master's in social work.
Okay.
So we have various positions that require different degrees and levels of education. They can obtain their GED through Goodwill, and we also help those with barriers to employment or that have disabilities or previous records also obtain employment. So sky's the limit, basically.
Okay.
Great. Thanks, Robert.
Grace from San Jose wants to know which city you are all in.
Chamberlain's is in Hollister.
Okay.
I actually recruit for the San Jose Job Corps, but we have recruitment for Sacramento and also Treasure Island Job Corps, which is in the San Francisco and Sacramento area.
Okay.
I'm located out of Watsonville, but we also have a center in San Jose as far as local, and then we have other centers all along the state, north and south. Mm-hmm.
The San Benito County positions are located in Hollister.
So my office is located out of San Jose, but we have several different positions for the Goodwill stores. There's 19 in Santa Clara County, so all throughout Santa Clara County, Palo Alto, Milpitas, Hollister, Gilroy.
Okay.
Okay. Katrina from Gilroy wants to know, do you have any manager and training positions?
Well, I'll say firsthand that every position at Chamberlain's holds that potential. I started at Chamberlain's in 2000 and started as a child care counselor trainee. And over the years, with opportunities that came up, I was able to move myself with education and experience into the position I'm in now, which is program director. And so every one of the positions we have, it holds that opportunity for folks. I'll also add that we do also encourage our current employees and potential future employees to continue their education. In fact, Chamberlain's offers tuition reimbursement for eligible employees as well.
That answered another question. Okay.
Well, our program, it's more so a job training program. So if you want to go into the managerial aspect, of course, it depends on how far you want to see yourself in your career. I've had students gotten promotions in the industry that they're going into. One of them actually got a job in Tesla, and now he's a manager there at Tesla. So he's a Job Corps graduate about 2.5 years ago, so which is great.
There is supervisory experience to be gained. We have a thing called super grading, which is basically promoting, and it's when you accept more responsibility and you're essentially helping run crews. And actually 6 months doing that will qualify you to be a supervisor with us, but it also counts as supervisory in other occupations.
Okay.
I really like Patrick's answer from Chamberlain's. I think that every employee has the opportunity or potential to be a manager in training. So if you have the drive and you want to go to school while you're working, if you start as low as an eligibility worker, we've had one of our deputy directors started in eligibility services over 20 years ago, and she used our tuition reimbursement program, and she took time on the weekends and evenings to study, and she's a deputy director now with a master's in social work. So she's a real success story, and I would say that that would be something that is very doable for a 20-something-year-old getting into social work and eligibility at this time.
Thank you. Robert?
Same with Goodwill. We have several employees that have started basically from the bottom and worked their way up to good, better positions, employment with management. So.
Okay, Mario from Hollister wants to get an idea of how many positions do you have right now?
We'll start off with Patrick.
Sure. At Chamberlain's, we have about 6 positions available right now for child care counselor trainee. Of those, 3 are full-time and 3 are part-time.
Okay. With this question, if you could actually throw in the salary range,
Sure.
as far as the positions that are open as well.
Absolutely. So it is the one position, child care counselor trainee, and the salary range is the state minimum wage from $9 an hour up to $11.02 an hour to start. The employees who start at that rate or within that range have an opportunity to move into a certified rate, which is $9 up to $13. It's on the tip of my head. $13, a little over $13 an hour.
You keep in mind it's approximate.
That's approximate.
You don't know on the top of your head, but it's approximate.
Right.
So. Okay, Leslie?
So our program, they do get a bi-weekly allowance, so it's kind of like a small paycheck. It's about $25, that's before taxes, but not as much taxes as we get out of our paychecks, but it's only 7.65%. So they do get a bi-weekly allowance. They're essentially getting that allowance every other week, just like a small job. The positions open right now for our program. We have 17 actual vocational trades opening or opened right now. 2 of them are closed until August of 2015, and I know a lot of the females are going to be really upset, but our medical field, so medical assisting and dental assisting are closed at the moment, but doesn't mean that Sacramento or Treasure Island has those openings available that we can do their application process with us in San Jose and make sure their application gets to the right center so they can do their training, be successful, graduate, and find a job from there.
So the pay for the CCC is the state minimum wage. It's $9 an hour. Per super grade, though, it's a quarter more. The most you can make is $9.75 an hour, which at the base pay, $9 comes out to a little over $1,400 a month. Generally, that's just an estimation. We currently have about 15 openings in each center, so in San Jose and Watsonville. Yes.
No problem. Thank you. And Jacki?
Currently, we are recruiting for the account clerk too. As I mentioned before, we have 2 positions currently available. We have a social worker position that may be opening within the next month. Again, that website is mss.ca.gov. And we have 4 social worker positions vacant currently. We also are hiring for eligibility workers, and we have 6 positions available there. Back to the salary, I'm sorry. The account clerk 2 pays between a starting pay of $2,523 and up to $3,221 monthly.
Okay.
Thank you, Jacki. Robert?
So applicants can apply at one of the Goodwill stores. The positions are always variable, so it doesn't, it's going to change from time to time, so pay is going to depend on which county they're in, so or which city. So San Jose is going to be a little higher than Sunnyvale or another city. So that's just going to vary, but it'll be the minimum wage for one of the Goodwill stores. If they're applying for a different position, then that'll also vary. I don't have the numbers or open positions as of now because they're constantly getting filled and replaced. So.
Thank you.
Okay, Dee Dee from Hollister wants to know, do you do background checks? And in particular, would a DUI or maybe a felony be an issue for any of the positions that you might have open?
At Chamberlain's, it definitely does make a difference. We are working with at-risk youth, and so there's a pretty rigorous screening process that includes background investigation, reference checks, and a number of other kind of checks and balances that we use on our own as far as our interview process goes and observation of candidates who we bring in to interact with our staff. And so, yeah, definitely there's a process there. A DUI or a felony. A felony would disqualify an applicant immediately. A DUI would definitely affect, depending on the details of what that is. But it would affect their ability to work with us.
Okay.
All right. So for our program, they have to have a clean background check. So no open cases, no pending court dates, fines, restitution, diversion, any of those things. But we do have a little bit of wiggle room because it is a job training program. We want to give these young adults a second chance. But the things that I have a little bit of wiggle room with is the fines. If it's below $500 and on a payment plan, documentation is needed, then we'll be able to work with them. If it's on probation, it has to be on informal or court probation, and documentation is needed too as well. Again, if you have an open court date, that has to be closed. As for DUIs and felonies, as long as it's closed and the Department of Labor says okay, then and you can see you're of good faith and going into the program that you're turning a new leaf, then of course we'll give you a chance and give you that recommendation for the program. But ultimately it is the applicant that needs to work really hard in getting the training they need to be successful in the future.
Okay. Thank you, Leslie. Annie?
Yes, we do a background check as well, fingerprinting. Basically, the only thing that disqualifies you is a felony charge or formal probation, because I kind of forgot to mention this earlier, but we also respond to state emergencies. So we go and do camp support at fires and floods. So if you have to be checking in with, probation officer, it's an issue. As far as DUIs go, that's circumstantial as well. The details are kind of needed. And if it's a felony that's closed, we also need to see documentation. That's about it.
Thank you, Leslie. Jacki?
Our agency also requires background checks. The account clerk position works with checks and money, and so that's absolutely necessary for that position. Other positions in the agency deal with confidential personal information, whether it's health information or Social Security. So we are pretty strict about our background checks and criminal backgrounds. DUIs would be disqualifying if you don't have a current driver's license, and possibly if it was in the last few years.
Thank you, Jacki. Robert?
So we do investigation, background check. They will not be allowed on the facility if they're a 290 sex offender because of a lot of programs and volunteers that we have with some of, Loaves and Fishes or giving food out and volunteering their time. As far as felony records and things like that, I think if it's over a certain time, I think 1 or 3 years, I'm not too sure what the time is, but as long as it's nothing that's nonviolent. If it was a violent offense, then that might be something that they might not be able to work with, but for the most part, they're pretty good with everything else.
Thank you. Now, for our viewers at home, if we're job seekers, why should we apply for your company? Patrick?
I think that depends on where your passion is at. If you're passionate about helping children who have been dealt a bad hand in life, if you're passionate about your own growth and development, then I would say that Chamberlain's is a great place to start.
Thank you, Patrick. Leslie?
So our program, if you want to get far ahead and turn a new leaf and get the education and training you want in the field you want to go into, whether it be in construction or in the medical field or maybe in culinary, any kind of field you want to go into, it's really up to the applicant to really wanting to put in that hard work and move forward and moving on with their career choice. So our program can definitely help with that training, but all the blood, sweat, and tears into that program, they need to put that effort to it as well.
Thank you.
There's a number of reasons that one could apply for the CCC. Maybe you have an interest in, the environment. You want to learn more about it. You want to get to travel. We get to work in some beautiful places. Maybe, you don't have a lot of experience on your resume and you're just trying to find your foot in the door. It's really great for that. You get a lot of opportunities to network with different employers. You get to, every week, it's something different. You're doing a different job. So, you kind of get a feel for that. Some people just join because they want a job, which isn't always the best because it doesn't pay a lot. But, they'll do that and then they find a passion for it, or, they'll find out that they can do a lot more than they thought they could. And I've seen people come in from really bad backgrounds, bad places, and they just totally flourish and learn so much about themselves and the environment and what they want to do. So it's a really good opportunity if you're just trying to get a lot of experience and, kind of get out of your box.
Thanks, Annie. Jackie?
I think people come to the County Health and Human Services Agency looking for employment, sometimes because they're just looking for a job. Others have found where they want to help. They want to help people. They want to help people, the children in Child Protective Services. We have a community services and workforce development where we're helping people find jobs, get back into the workforce after being kind of in a bad place in their lives. Also in eligibility, they help people get Medi-Cal and find services for people who are less fortunate.
Thanks, Jackie. Robert?
They'd want to work for Goodwill because we help those with barriers that are looking for employment, that need a second chance. There's several different locations with different types of skills that they could use or they can build up upon. So they don't have to be the person that's working there their whole life, but they can gain these skills and they can use those for a future job or other avenues for another career. And it's just a great team that we have at Goodwill. So that's another thing.
Thank you.
All right, well, unfortunately, we've run out of time. I'm sorry to everyone we missed your questions, but you're a popular group. So thank you, everybody, for coming. We're going to display your company information, how people can get a hold of you, and how they can apply at the break. But thank you for coming and answering all the questions.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you.